Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Revelation chapter 7, verses 9, 13, and 14. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne, and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and palms in their hands. One of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes? And whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, these are they.
oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us in this body of Yahshua. The topic of today's sermon is taking away the reproach. Now, it is impossible to go about in this life and not have some type of reproach, not have some things that we didn't do well that we need to correct. But oftentimes when it comes time for us to correct those things, we kind of like to either go to blame shifting or to point out something that somebody else didn't do right, as if somebody else's not right makes our not right all of a sudden right. And the whole part of the verse and the song was they have washed their robes clean. When you talk about white, you're talking about empty. It is the only color that doesn't mix with any other color. It has no other color in it. Anything you add to white becomes whatever you added to it. So it is an empty situation, meaning that there is no more reproach there when you deal with something of that nature. Yahshua had to deal with reproach, and the reproach didn't have anything to do with him. This is one of the things that we have to deal with, that all reproach does not mean that somebody has done something wrong. There are certain things that we have to just consider that Yahweh may want from us, and that's something that he is going to do to get some glory for his law and his righteous name. And if we're going to be servants, then that's something that we're going to have to get accustomed to. So let's begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 30. The last thing we want to do is end up in a situation where we have all of this reproach left over, because every time there was an opportunity to deal with something, we just mentioned all the things that somebody else did wrong. The issue is none of those people are going to be standing at your judgment. See, the only time that matters, if you go to man's court of law and you can start throwing around what somebody did something else, maybe they offer you a plea deal. But Yahweh doesn't offer plea deal. So mentioning what everybody else has done when it's time to deal with your reproach does not help you at all. It is of absolutely no consequence when it comes down to your actions. Salvation is not a group sport. It's not going to be a team of individuals and then there's one trophy and we all get to share in the salvation trophy. Now, we have works that we collectively have to do, but do understand the reproach that sits upon you personally, you are going to have to do that. Now, there are other things that we can do together that helps you deal with that reproach. And we'll get into that. Genesis chapter 30, and let's start that at verse 1.
And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in Elohim's stead, who has withheld you from the fruit of the womb?
Now, automatically, as she's going through this, she blame shifts. She said, got to be your fault. Give me children or else I die. He has to then remind her, which is something you ain't never got to really remind no woman. I ain't God. You ain't never got to remind no woman that. She know you ain't God. But all of a sudden in this situation, she believes that he has this power. No, I don't. Am I in Elohim's stead? Go ahead.
And the proof is there. This other woman got kids.
You know,
other children. How is it my fault?
Hey, when sometimes, and this is why I mentioned the blame shift. Sometimes when it comes down to us receiving reproach, the first action that we take is to throw that reproach on somebody else. So much, in fact, that we'll accuse them of doing the very thing that we the ones doing. Go ahead.
And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah her handmaid to wife. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, Elohim has judged me, and has also heard my voice, and has given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan.
Now, if you notice, these names are given based upon what the individual was going through in their life. So as we talk about all of these 12 tribes, do understand that their names are what they are because of whatever reproach or turmoil or joy, whatever was going on at the time that child was born. So when we say names have meaning, names have double meaning. There's the definition of the name, and there's the definition of the turmoil that you were going through that made you even say that name. Go ahead.
And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceive again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali.
All right, so you understand that these names are just not something that that these women are pulling out the air. They didn't just say, you know, look at the hill, Blue Rose. I'm gonna name my child Blue Rose. Look at that, that's so pretty. No, it's situation and circumstances connected to this. Go ahead. Jump to verse 22.
And Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim hearkened to her and opened her womb.
Now, understand why this was even this way. Because Yahweh is looking at a balance that we wouldn't think that he would look at. He's looking at Rachel and said, wait a minute, your husband has an enormous amount of love for you, but not so much love for the other wife. I tell you what I'm going to do. Yahweh steps in to alter this situation. So then now the other one gets to have all of these children before her. So she doesn't get to have children on her own until after she gives her handmaid to her husband. Now look at what happens. Go ahead.
And she conceived and bare a son, and said, Elohim has taken away my reproach. And she called his name Yosef, and said, Yahweh shall add to me another son.
Okay, so there are two things that we're going to have to deal with. First of all, the name of Yosef, and then the statement that she made. But first, I want you to read the definition of reproach. She says, Elohim has taken away my reproach.
Reproach from H2781. Kirpah from H2778. Contumely, disgrace, the pedenda, rebuke, reproach, reproachfully, shame.
So then there's some shame included in her situation. You're talking about the very beginning of be fruitful and multiply, and then there's not an opportunity to be fruitful and multiply. At that point, this is a reproach. This is shameful for her. Now, verse 23 and verse 24 speak of not just a great blessing, but of great blessings to come. Rachel was in turmoil, and the kid that she conceived, she named Yosef, and stated that Yahweh has taken away her reproach, and that Yahweh would add to her another son. Not just another child, but another son. That's an awfully bold proclamation for someone who was recently barren. So Rachel prophesies concerning her future after delivering Yosef. Let's go to Genesis chapter 37. Genesis chapter 37, and we're going to read verses 3 through 11.
Now Israel loved Yosef more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age.
Stop. He was the son of his old age. Now what? Now, you have this reproach that is upon this woman, right? Now, but this child is delayed. So, but then there's this love that comes from the father because the kid was delayed. So the very thing that she had an issue with is the very thing that causes this man to love this child so much. See, reproach is funny. Reproach is funny. When you don't know what is fun, you might not even know what you're looking at. Keep reading.
And he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Yosef dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I've dreamt. For, behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and, lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said unto him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words.
All right, now, first of all, in the timing, this dream makes no sense. If his mother was allowed to bear first, then he would have been older. The dream don't make much sense if he actually is older. Because, of course, y'all gonna serve me, I'm the older. The dream don't make no sense if he's oldest. But if you wait and then he's the child of his father's old age, now the dream causes turmoil, which is exactly what Yahweh want. Keep going.
And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And, behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that you have dreamt? Shall I and your mother and your brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to you, to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the saying.
His brethren envied him, but the father observed the saying. But the father still said something. Wait a minute, boy. We gonna bow to you? But remember now, this is the one who comes after a long period of reproach, and his mother said some things. Let's jump to Genesis chapter 45. Now see, the choir did a very beautiful song, washing their robes clean in the tribulation. Now the problem is, a lot of us start running when that cleaning get on the agitation cycle. See, when that thing start going, we fine when the water go in. Because, that sound peaceful. That's something. When that mother start going, we like, you know what, it's time to go. Wait a minute. It said he washed the robes clean in tribulation. Tribulation, agitation, some kind of shun is in there. What the problem is? But as soon as we get the shun, we out. Water alone ain't gonna clean it. It's got to be some agitation. We just want to show up and the laundry done. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 45 and verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him. And he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Does my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence.
Right, they're troubled at his presence because this is the one that they ended up throwing in a pit and selling because they didn't like none of his fancy dreams. And he couldn't stop telling them, but wait, I've dreamed yet a dream more. We're going to kill him. He's going to die. Go ahead.
And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourself, that you sold me hither. For Elohim did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years, in the which there shall neither be airing nor harvest.
Now, this gift of the sons could not have been one of the firstborn. This gift has to be presented at the right time. And if the father had him leading the family, he would have just died if he knew the power of Joseph, and then Joseph left and went to Egypt. He already had a whole lot of problems. Go ahead.
And Elohim sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now, it was not you that sent me hither, but Elohim.
Uh-huh.
And he has made me a father to Pharaoh and master of all his house and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt.
So he understands it is not you that did this to me. I know you think you did this to me, but Yahweh made you do this to me. Go ahead.
Haste you and go up to my father and say unto him, Thus says your son Joseph, Elohim has made me master of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and you shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near unto me, you and your children and your children's children, and your flocks and your herds and all that you have. And there will I nourish you, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty.
There will I nourish you. There will I nourish you. The same one that they had all of this issue with. Go ahead.
And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaks unto you. And you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that you have seen. And you shall haste and bring down my father hither.
Now, we have certain things that we have to deal with right there. The first part was Rachel's reproach. She's delayed from childbearing. But when you get down to the issues of the family, this boy was born at absolutely the perfect time. Somebody has to save Israel from being destroyed in this famine. This gift had to come at this time. And as powerful as the gift was, the daddy wasn't just going to let him go. Something had to happen for him to go out from them. The next thing we have to deal with is when Rachel brought forth Joseph, she prophesied. She prophesied concerning her future and says, Yahweh will add to me another son. Wait a minute. She prophesied, and the kid became a prophet. Mm-hmm. Joseph took away her reproach. Joseph ended up taking away all of Israel's reproach. Sometimes reproach has something bigger to do with what's coming after you than you. So she's dealing with her situation. But because this is the spirit of what this child was born in, this is what he's dealing with. Now, when you deal with her reproach being removed when she bore him, he removed the reproach of starvation from the entire family of Israel. Oh, and that other son, he says, bring me my brother. She says, but I shall bear yet another son. That was Benjamin. He said, bring me my brother. Everything that woman said came to pass. But she had to be in turmoil to say it. There are some times when it says that you shall be justified and you shall be condemned by the words that proceed out of your mouth. Understand something. There are times that Yahweh will push you to say what he's already ready to do for you. He will push you to a point of agitation, make you get off in a hole, and you get, I ain't gonna never do. That's what he waiting. That's what I've been pushing you for right there. Then he turn around and answer that he made you say. This just didn't happen. Yahweh knows, no, I can't, Richie, I can't give you a kid right now. No, but I want a kid right now. Look at all the kids that's coming over here. No. Yeah, but ain't I? No. But do we trust his timing? Do we trust him? See, we want some. I want a ready-made family right now. Add water and stir. Ain't they got a little pre-packaged family right there by the oatmeal and the instant grits? And you just put it in there. The grits, oatmeal, family. Just put the water in there and stir. Okay. She's watching all of this. But he says no. Why? Because yours have a purpose. And you're going to have to wait on that. Go ahead, priest.
You know, when you look at it, and that's the whole new saying of the first shall be last and the last shall be first.
Uh-huh.
And then you look at, like you keep saying, if he was born first, the love child that he became in the end is what he would have been in the beginning, and everybody else would have got ignored.
You got it. Wouldn't have been no 12 tribes of Israel. There'd been, 12 little nigglets of yourself. You just hit brother. The hell on out of here. And you can tell when your big brother do a whole lot of stuff, because you go to school and they don't even know you by your name. Hey, that's Shawty Red, brother. What? Hey, man, I got a name. No, you don't. You Shawty Red, brother, because your brother is psychotic. All right? And we know where Shawty Red, brother, is at every point in it. When other people get ready to get into an altercation, they be like, hey, bro, whoa, you know who brother that is? No. That's Shawty Red, brother. My bad, dog. My bad. I didn't know, man. Your brother's a killer. All right? So, none of this goes the way that it's supposed to go if, the timing is not right. But see, for us, we think we ready for everything at every point in the journey. But sometimes, the meat got to be tenderized. Mm-hmm. You can't just grab it, you know what I'm saying? You go get it and you going to throw it in the pan or throw it on the grill. Sometimes you got to beat it up a little bit. And that's what Yahweh said, no, you ain't been tenderized yet. Slam him on his head a few times. Slam him up. Now flip him over. You slam him to one side. Tenderize the other side a little bit. Now I say, now he ready. Now he ready. See, we think we ready. He said, no, you're too tough. You too tough. I don't need you tough against me. I need you tough against the world. You got to figure out what part to be tough on. So let me tenderize you a little bit. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 1. 1 Samuel chapter 1, and we're going to read that through verse 20.
Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zophim, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children.
Once again, we have a situation that automatically is presumed reproach. See, it appears to be reproach because one has, the other has not. Go ahead.
And the man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto Yahweh of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of Yahweh, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but Yahweh had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb.
Because they figured this should be automatic. This is not happening. So now it leads to the provoking. And y'all know that we can provoke one another without saying the word. Go ahead.
And here we go. We had that same situation again. He loved Hannah.
Uh-huh.
So you always got to even some things out.
Yahweh have a way of evening things out that you don't even know he evening out. See? But we want everything. I want the love. I want the babies. I want the car. I want the house. I want the ring. I want everything. Yahweh said, but wait. All right, hold on now. Hold on. Go ahead.
And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahweh, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepeth you? And why eateth you not? And why is your heart grieved? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of Yahweh. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto Yahweh, and wept sore.
Wait a minute. Okay, so here comes the prayer. But Yahweh had to tenderize you a little bit, because now the things that's going to come out of your mouth is going to serve a purpose not only for you, but for him as well. But see, something has to happen for you to pray that prayer. See, without a certain amount of turmoil, we don't open our mouth. See, let things going good. Some of us ain't prayed in months. Life is good. Look at it. Man, the Corolla running good. You know what I'm saying? I got the tune up. I got the tires aligned. You know what I'm talking about? Life is good. You know what I'm talking about? I'm good. Then here comes some problem. Oh, Yahweh. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. Right. So he got to do you like Romy. You can't call nobody. So he got to give you some reproach just so he hear from you. Too good, we forget where we come from. Too bad, we'll never stop talking. He like, look, I need a healthy balance. You got to stop calling me now. I need a healthy balance now. Call me sometime. Don't keep calling. Huh? Go ahead.
And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if you will indeed look upon the affliction of your handmaid, and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto your handmaid a man-child, then I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head.
I mean, you really want something when you say, when I get it, I'm going to get it back. I want this so much that if you give it to me, I'll give it back to you. See, we don't know that kind. We don't know that kind of love. At this point, she just needs to know in her heart, I got one. I don't have to see it. I don't have to have it near me. I just need to know in my heart that I had one of those. See, when we get something we want to keep it all the time. We won't take it everywhere. She said, no. Give me this, and I get it back. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long will you be drunken? Put away your wine from you. And Hannah answered and said, No, my master, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before Yahweh. Count not your handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto.
Out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken. Go ahead.
Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the El of Israel grant you your petition that you have asked of him.
Now, understand, there are things that Eli has done that he ain't even in the right stead with Elohim. Yet, his position gives him the ability to say, Elohim grant you your prayers. This is why you have to really consider who it is you want to get into altercation with. Even in his wrong spot, he got away. Elohim grant you your petition. Boom. Go ahead.
And she said, Let your handmaid find grace in your sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad.
Right. Now, if he would not have encountered her and said, Elohim grant you your petition, would she still have been sad? Go ahead.
That means she trusts the priest.
Yes. And that's worth its weight in gold right there. It's one thing to trust a priest who you ain't never seen do nothing wrong. When wait a minute. She done seen Eli do some stuff wrong. You know, that's all it take for her. You know, I was going to go down there, but I seen one time that brother got to that stoplight and he didn't even stop. That can't be no man of God. That's all. Hey, that's all we need. That's it. We'll take anything. Done deal. Ain't nobody got to listen to him. Okay, go ahead.
And they rose up in the morning early, and worshipped before Yahweh, and returned, and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and Yahweh remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, because I have asked him of Yahweh.
Now, understand that these names have meaning based on whatever was going on in their life at this time. She says, okay, because I have asked him of Yah, I will call him Samuel. We're talking about the first of the great prophets and leaders of Israel. All of this comes about because of her wanting to remove reproach. So then, reproach then has levels. There's some reproach that is brought about because of our own doing, and there's other reproach that, hey, Yahweh put that on you from the day you were born. And you gonna deal with that because it is something for him inside of that. It is not about you. It is greater than you. Now, these events should help us understand that all reproach is not about the wrongdoing of the sufferer. We must remember that we are servants of Yahweh, and his purpose must reign supreme in our lives in all that we do. There are various ways of removing reproach, and it is normally directly connected to the fashion of how we obtain the reproach in the first place. It is written concerning lies and false witness in Deuteronomy 19 and verses 18 through 19. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and has testified falsely against his brother, then shall you do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shall you put the evil away from among you. This action implies investigating the intent of the aggressor. The key word is what he thought to have done. Ultimately, no one but Yahweh can really know what an individual was thinking. So the office of the judges must be officiated by those who have been thoroughly exercised in turmoil. This ensures that the perspective of the judges is not that of a novice operating out of feelings. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 17. So sometimes your reproach is to get you ready for a future job. But you're getting upset at your trainer. You ever seen a plumber's? Man, why I got to carry all these damn riches? Bro, how you going to learn how to take the pipe out? Man, it stinks down here. You a plumber, bro. Bro, ain't you trying to be a plumber? This your training. I'm trying to show you. Man, why is it so wet down here? It's water. You said you... Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 17. And let's start at verse 21.
For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage, and ran into the army, and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid. And the men of Israel said, Have you seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who kills him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel.
Wait a minute. So we have this situation. The king will enrich him with great riches and will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel. Keep going.
And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that kills this Philistine and takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living El?
Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living Elohim? So here it is, this child, if you will, takes away the reproach from Israel. What all these warriors doing? Why the little man boy is taking away the reproach of Israel? They didn't know. He already king. You see that little man boy? He was king in spirit when all the warriors stood by. Goliath's so big, he's large. Look at him. He looks angry too. Look, he snarls like an animal. Oh, they scared of him. Little pretty boy said, give me a rock. He already king. He king in here. He has taken away the reproach from Israel, and nobody's paying attention to what the spirit of that means. Now, Joseph did that. Joseph was a type of Messiah for the children of Israel. He saved Israel. And here is this kid taking away the reproach from Israel, and all the warriors stand by afraid to move. Sometimes taking away reproach means that you may have to do some things that might not sit well with your thought process. Let's go to Mark chapter 11. And understand, it says, don't forget the song, who are these that have made their robes white? Who are these who are arrayed in these white robes? How did they get to this point? At some point, this reproach has to be taken away. But there's not this magic eraser that you can just put on the robe and just get all the stains out. There are some things that's going to have to happen. Mark 11, and I want you to read verses 15 through 19.
And they came to Jerusalem, and Yahshua went into the temple, and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves, and would not suffer that any man should carry any vessel through the temple. And he taught, saying unto them, is it not written, my house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer? But you have made it a den of thieves. And the scribes and the chief priests heard it, and sought how they might destroy him, for they feared him, because all the people was astonished at his doctrine. And when even was come, he went out of the city.
All right, so verse 17. And he taught, saying unto them, is it not written, my house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. Back up to 15. And they come to Jerusalem, and Yahshua went in the temple and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple. He throwing people out. He turning over tables. Now, to most people, it would appear this individual has no love. He throwing people out of the temple. He turning over tables. In actuality, it is his love that's causing him to turn over those tables and throw them people out. See, at this point, the people, if he can get the people to change, then they can remain in the temple. But the issue is, the people are the reproach. And if he can't get the people to change, then he got to get them to change their location. on the other side of that door. It's a very simple equation. You can either change the way you operate or you can change your location. And it doesn't matter where you go, just out away from here. Simple. And this is what he brings forth. Let's go to Psalms chapter 69. And you know, this is where people will talk about, you know, will use forgiveness in the wrong circumstances and in the wrong situations. Did Yahshua go through the temple and say, I forgive you? Okay, all right, wait a minute. See, you can't take one concept and misuse it and run all the way across everywhere. You don't have no forgiveness. Why don't you tell Yahshua? Tell him. Make sure you say it with your chest. I want you to say it with your chest. Don't halfway say it. Say it with your chest. Now, I'm going to be back over here behind this rock. But you go ahead, though. You say it. You say it. Go right ahead. Tell him. He ain't got no forgiveness in it. See, you're not dealing with that concept right. There's certain things that you can walk and deal in forgiveness with. And there's others, you better take care of that business before that business take care of you. You're not having any conversations. Look, get this stuff out of here. Go ahead.
He was so serious about it, he made a whip and started whipping them out.
Sure did. So he braided cords together and started you know you're getting that whooping. See, I don't know if y'all ever had them. See, there's a one switch whooping. And then there's that one where your mama said, you know what to do. And she started taking them switches and you looking at it, you be like, Mama, what you doing? Macrame? What are you doing? What are you doing? Mama, what you doing with those switches? Wait, no, see today, son, you about to learn something. I don't want to learn whatever the hell that is. What you doing right there? Cause I mean, she spends time putting together this thing here. No. It says braided cord. The more you keep adding to it, the stronger it gets. Okay. People serious about this business. Y'all gonna get this up out of here. But then when we see the physical manifestation of that, when you see somebody goes and tries to talk to some individuals about, okay, look, this you're doing and it's not quite in order. Let's have a conversation about how we can clean this up. Automatically shift blaming, doing this. Okay, they're not interested in taking away the reproach. So at that point, you can only take away the individual. All right, let me get you to go on the other side of that fence. I take your reproach with you. It can't. You and it is a package deal. All right, pick up your reproach and take it to the mailbox. Now I don't give a damn with you and your reproach. Y'all can walk the earth like Cain from Kung Fu. I don't care what you do after that. Just go ahead and do whatever you do. But you try first to see if you can get that to come away from the people. When they decide that they're going to take it with them, then you got to let them go. And Yahshua knows, no, these people are making money. They have made merchandise. They're not going to stop. That's the easiest way to realize when somebody ain't going to stop something. When they start making money off of it, that's very, very difficult to stop then. Go ahead, brother. Where you at?
Psalms chapter 69 and verse 1. Save me, O Elohim, for the waters are come in onto my soul. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I'm come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying, my throat is dried, mine eyes fail while I wait for my El. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away.
I restored that which I took not away. Go ahead.
O Elohim, you knoweth my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from you. Let not them that wait on you, O Adonai Elohim of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek you be confounded for my sake, O Elohim of Israel. Because for your sake I have borne reproach. Shame has covered my face.
Because for your sake I have borne reproach. Not because of something that I have done. This reproach is because of the love that I have for you. Are we willing to deal with that? Are we even at the point that we're able to witness what it is for? Sometimes you think that somebody just has something against you. No. They got something against where you stand. It's not personal. It's business. It's your father's business that they have a problem with. Because your father's business makes them uncomfortable. See, you're gonna be talking about them commandments. You're going to be talking about order. And I don't like people talking about that kind of stuff around me. It make me feel bad. Why? Because I'm going to break all of them tonight. Oh, okay. Right. Go ahead.
I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of your house has eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach you are fallen upon me.
The zeal of your house have eaten me up. I have so much love for your house, so much love for your house that it is continually on my mind. And those that have a problem with you, all of a sudden have a problem with me. But it's exactly what was told to Samuel. It was the exact situation with Moshe. No. It ain't you they have a problem with. It's really me. You just been made to bear the reproach of those that hate me. Go ahead.
When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I had sackcloth also as my garment, and I became a proverb to them. They that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. But as for me, my prayer is unto you, O Yahweh, in an acceptable time. O Elohim, in the multitude of your mercy, hear me, in the truth of your salvation. Deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. Let not the water flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Yahweh, for your loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of your tender mercies. And hide not your face from your servant, for I am in trouble. Hear me speedily. Draw near unto my soul, and redeem it. Deliver me because of mine enemies. You have known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before you. Reproach has broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. And for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink.
Now, understand something. You have a situation that may be pushing David to right things because of what's happening to him. But this is fitting what's happening or going to happen to the Messiah. So sometimes you have the reproach or the situation that is before your eyes that he's leading you to deal with. But it is much greater than that situation that is in front of you. You have to ask yourself, what would lead David to go and write these things? Then you get many generations later, and it fits Yahshua. That means Yahweh stepped back and he allows certain reproach to come so he can put your heart in the right place. We don't want to believe that our heart needs moving. We think that we always in the right place. Go ahead.
Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake.
And is that not us now? Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap, even without our own doing. These folks put so much in the food, we don't know what we eat. This is why you pray over a meal to start with. You don't know what you eat. They got stuff that say organic. That stuff ain't even organic. What was that thing? We looked at somewhere it says, you know, it'll say plant-based, but they meant that it was made in that plant down the street. And you be thinking you're doing something. Shoot, I got this plant-based. Yeah, the plant right there on Reading and Panola. You see that plant? Yeah, the one with the black smoke shooting out of it. That one. Right. Oh, these folk got games. These folk got games. Go ahead.
Pour out your indignation upon them, and let your wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom you have smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom you have wounded. Add lawlessness unto their lawlessness, and let them not come into your righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let your salvation, O Elohim, set me up on high. I'll praise the name of Elohim with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving.
Right, but do you do that? See, when you done went through something, see, that's why they call it R&B. It's a rhythm and blues. They got that soul music. What happened? They got a certain pain in them. They sing different. See? That's why everybody has mimicked our music. They mimic our pain because they don't have it like that. And they said, man, what makes y'all sing like that? Turmoil. You ever watch a Sunday morning song from one of those real big, rich, established congregations? Hey man, all the notes are on time. It is, but it ain't nothing you want to listen to. Oh yeah, no, I love God. Good. You don't want to listen to that. But you get a few brothers and sisters in the room that done had some turmoil. They like, all right, break it down, man. Woo, come on, bro. Oh, now you got something altogether different. What's driving that? It ain't their knowledge of notes. It's that turmoil in there. Make you sing different. You get a rasp in there that you didn't have. Hey, bro, where you get that rasp from? Oh, man, that back there. I can't explain it right now. I have to tell you later. Right. It's that turmoil that helped that. See? That's the seasoning. And we trying to take out the seasoning. Yahweh said, I'll season you with salt. But see, we want to be do-re-mi. Nah, bruh. Nah, Yahweh like, I don't nobody want to listen to that. Who want to listen to that? I said, I want a pleasant sound. That ain't, come on, bruh. Come on, put a little seasoning in there. Hit him a little bit. Hit him. Now, see, now he's singing. He wasn't singing until I hit him. Okay. All right. Go ahead, priest.
This also shall please Yahweh better than an ox or bullock that has horns and hoofs.
Uh-huh.
The humble shall see this and be glad, and your heart shall live that seek Elohim. For Yahweh hears the poor and despises not his prisoners.
Okay. Verse 30. I will praise the name of Elohim with a song and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please Yahweh better than an ox or a bullock that has horns and hoofs. You can come with an offering, or you can come with a song seasoned with reproach. Okay. Go ahead.
Let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moves therein. For Elohim will save Zion and will build the cities of Yehuda, that they may dwell there and have it in possession. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein.
All right, let's go to Joshua chapter 5. Joshua chapter 5, and I want to read verses 1 through 15.
And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on this side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that Yahweh had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was their spirit in them any more, because of the children of Israel. At that time Yahweh said unto Yahshua, Make you sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time.
All right, circumcise the children of Israel again the second time. Go ahead.
And Yahshua made him sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. And this is the cause why Yahshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt, that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised.
So Yahweh never pushed them to get circumcised. He said it ain't gonna do them no good no way. They ain't gonna do them no good no way. So he never even pushed that. So this had some timing connected to it. Go ahead.
For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, unto whom Yahweh sware that he would not show them the land which Yahweh sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that flows with milk and honey. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Yahshua circumcised.
Them he circumcised. He circumcised the children, but he had to wait and let that 40 years go. Let all of them die off. Now he can do this circumcision. Go ahead.
For they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp, till they were whole.
All right. And it came to pass when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole. Now, once they are whole, this means that now they are healed. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you.
Once they were healed from the circumcision, now have I rolled away the reproach. Go ahead.
Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho.
He said, now you keeping the Passover. See, there's certain things that's going to have to get dealt with, but ain't no need of you dealing with it while them children still out here. While your dad is out here. Because they all got to die off. So that reproach ain't coming off until every bit of this is dealt with. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, when you look at it, when that old generation died off, that covenant died with them. Because they were all circumcised, which is a covenant. And then I'll make a new covenant with y'all when y'all get this done.
Right. But you got to let that covenant in. Then you can go ahead and deal with this covenant. Said, and I can't let the reproach go while they still walking around. You have to think. They said, ask Yahshua, why do the other people fast and your disciples don't fast? He said, they can't fast while I'm here. They can't fast till I'm gone. Go ahead.
And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day. And the manna ceased on the morning after they had eaten of the old corn of the land, neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year.
All right. Now, you notice some changes after this reproach is removed. The circumcision is there, and then the manna ceased. Now, our problem is, now we want the reproach to be gone, but at the same time, we still want some other stuff to still be. I mean, what that stuff he was giving us out the sky? Yeah, but then y'all say y'all had a problem with that. I mean, now we can. I mean, I want to put it with, you know what I'm saying, with the ox, with a little oxtail, and then put that in there. Let's get a little oxtail and a little heaven bread, you know what I'm saying? And put a little olive oil on there, you know? Right. Go ahead.
You know, also in this whole situation, they despised the land, saying, you said of a land of milk and honey.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't let them see the land, and they also didn't taste anything from the land.
Mm-hmm. Hey, reproach, when it is instituted, you're going to deal with every part of that before it can be lifted. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Yahshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked. And, behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Yahshua went unto him and said unto him, Are you for us, or for our adversaries?
Uh-huh.
And he said, No, but as a captain of the host of Yahweh am I now come. And Yahshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my master unto his servant? And the captain of Yahweh's host said unto Yahshua, Loose your shoe from off your foot, for the place whereon you stand is holy. And Yahshua did so.
All right, so the place where you stand is holy. Now, certain things had to take place before he even received his visitation. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1. So a lot of times we're ready to jump levels. And I mean, you know, we got folks in here that play video games. And they'll tell you, you got to earn that level. You can't just come in and jump to that level. So what happened is somebody just started playing a game, and they look at somebody else and they say, hey man, why your screen look different? He said, well, I'm on level 6. Well, I want to play on level 6. But you're going to have to earn level 6. see, you on novice 1. You can't get this screen right here. No, I like the way your screen looks. See, that's what we do in people's life. I like the way your screen looks. I'm sorry, you can't get this screen. See, you still on level 1. See, you got to go through some turmoil to get this screen right here. See, these screens ain't just passed out. You got to earn this one. 1 Timothy chapter 1 and start that at verse 12.
I thank the Mashiach Yahshua, our Adonai, who has enabled me, for he counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry. Who was before a blasphemer and a persecutor and injurious. But I obtained mercy because I did it in ignorance, in unbelief. And the grace of our Adonai was exceeding abundant with faith and love, which is in the Mashiach Yahshua. This is a faithful saying and worthy of all acceptation, that the Mashiach Yahshua came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am chief.
Now, here it is. You're talking about a great, powerful man in the world of Yahweh, but he ain't walking around and saying, I'm sinless. He said, I'm sinful. Go ahead.
Howbeit, for this cause I obtained mercy, that in me first, Yahshua HaMashiach might show forth all long suffering.
Wait a minute. Through me, he can show how much long suffering is in him. Because it is well known of the things that I have done. When Yahweh then allows a person like him to work in his vineyard, it shows the mighty long suffering of Yahweh. Go ahead.
For a pattern to them which should hereafter believe on him to life everlasting. Now unto the King eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise El, be honor and glory forever and ever. Amen. This charge I commit unto you, son Timothy, according to the prophecies which went before on you, that you by them mighteth war a good warfare.
All right, let's go to Acts chapter 9 then, and let's get a little bit more about this brother. Said he was a persecutor, he was injurious, he was a blasphemer. Yet Yahweh chose him. See, to some of us, that's a problem. To others of us, it's encouragement. All depends on how you look at it. All depends on which side of the injurious persecution and blaspheming that you're standing on. See, it's like that question when Yahshua, when it was asked, whom do you think will love the Son of Man most? He said, I suppose him who he forgave most. Okay. So then you might understand why Yahweh might deal with certain individuals. Because other people said, well, I ain't did that much wrong, so I don't really need to, I don't really need to commit that much. You know what I'm saying? I don't really need to, offer my time. I really don't need to, offer my money or anything like that. I mean, because I was almost perfect when I got here. You know what I'm saying? I was like 98.6. You know what I'm saying? Like the temperature. I was almost there. I'm going to get the other little percentage from y'all. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yahweh, put them in that group. No. He said, no. Now, them individuals who know they ain't quite right, he said, no. They going to work. They going to operate differently. He said, they going to love me more because I have forgiven them of more. But those that think they already know, the hardest one to teach. Those that think they already have, you can't give them nothing. They say, I don't need that, what you got. They don't know they need it. The sad part about it is when they realize that they need it and it's too late, and they have turned down all of those things. Acts chapter 9, and let's start that at verse 1.
And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Adonai, went on to the high priest.
Breathing out threatenings and slaughter. This don't sound like a man that should be used. Yet Yahweh said, I won't use him. Yahshua said, I want him. Go ahead.
And desired of him letters to Damascus to the synagogues, that if he found any of this way, whether they were men or women, he might bring them bound on to Jerusalem. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecute you me?
Now, before this incident, he wholeheartedly believes in everything that he has been raised in. He wholeheartedly believed in everything that was taught to him. He believed that his threatenings, his slaughter against the disciples, he believed all of that was right. Now he getting visited. Go ahead.
And he said, who are you, Adonai? And the Adonai said, I'm Yahshua, whom you persecuted. It is hard for you to kick against the pricks.
Now understand, he says, I am Yahshua whom you persecute. Yahshua is not on the earth. So when he says you persecute Yahshua, no, you persecute the believers of Yahshua, which means you are persecuting Yahshua. How do we count? Do you count something as saying, I did that to that brother or that sister? Or do you count that I have done that to Yahshua? How does one count? You can be a master accountant and count this wrong. You didn't put this in the right category. See, you counting what you're looking at, but do you know what you're looking at? Go ahead.
And he, trembling and astonished, said, Adonai, what will you have me to do? And the Adonai said unto him, Arise, and go into the city, and it shall be told you what you must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man. But they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did eat nor drink. And there was a certain disciple at Damascus, named Ananias. And to him said the Adonai in a vision, Ananias. And he said, Behold, I am here, Adonai. And the Adonai said unto him, Arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Yehudis for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prays, and has seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand on him, that he might receive his sight. Then Ananias answered, Adonai, I have heard by many of this man.
All right, he don't want to do this. He don't want to do this job. I've heard by many about this man right here, so I know this ain't no room of him. Go ahead.
How much evil he has done to your saints at Jerusalem. And here he has authority from the chief priest to bind all that call on your name. But the Adonai said unto him, Go your way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me.
Go your way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me. Go ahead.
To bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake.
For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake. Now, go back to the song. The song sounds real good. These are they. All right, wait a minute. Here you go right here. They have washed their robes. Wait a minute. Now we about to get into robe washing. And I'm trying to tell you, it's dirty inside the washing machine. It's dirty in there. But we just want to show up. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Now let's see how he get that robe clean. Because he done got that robe real dirty with all that persecution. With all the breathing out threatenings and slaughter. But see, if you believe that Sunday morning story that you know, you just gonna wake up and zip tang, everything all right. You don't believe that you have any part in the redemption process. It's just all him doing it for you. You're not really doing anything. 2 Corinthians 11, and we're going to read 23 through 33.
Are they the ministers of Yahshua? I speak as a fool. I am more.
Back up to 22.
Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I.
But people ask you, what's a Hebrew Israelite? Tell them, why don't you go read that part of the book that you read? You read the New Testament, right? Why don't you tell me what a Hebrew Israelite is? Why are you asking me what's a Hebrew Israelite? Go ahead.
Are they ministers of Yahshua? I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant. In stripes above measure. In prisons more frequent. In deaths oft. Of the Yehudis 5 times received I 40 stripes save one.
Wait a minute. He's telling you his process for removing those stains of his robe. Are they ministers of the Mashiach? I speak as a fool, I am more. In labors more abundant. In stripes above measure. In prisons more often. We said, wait a minute, now prison. Hold on now. What kind of holy men we talking about? But see, all that reproach that he caused before, that reproach coming off. It wasn't no magical process. That reproach coming off. But see, if you don't know you got reproach to work off, then you one of those that just hanging at the water cooler while everybody else working. Then he brings to you your list of reproaches, and you realize that you should have been working while you was hanging out at the water cooler. Go ahead.
You know, when you think about these times, and he's talking about these stripes, but these stripes is bringing blood down his garments. 3 times was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. 3 times I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep. in journeyings often, in perils of waters, in perils of robbers, in perils by mine own countrymen, in perils by the heathen.
Check that out. Dangers by my own countrymen, and then dangers by the heathen. Oh, we know that well. Go ahead.
In perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren.
All of that helping to clean that road. Go ahead.
In weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness.
Right. But as soon as we hear something and we feel uncomfortable, boom, we off to another situation. Right. Which means that road never get clean. That means as soon as we put it in the washing machine and the washing machine look like it start getting a little crazy, we pop open the door and snatch the garment out and leave. And can't figure out why the garment ain't clean. Because we can't let it go through all the cycles. We saw the first cycle and got upset. Go ahead.
Beside those things that are without, that which comes upon me daily, the care of all the churches. Who is weak? And am I not weak? Who is offended? And I burn not? If I must needs glory, I'll glory of the things which concern mine infirmities. The Elohim and Father of our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, which is blessed forevermore, knows that I lie not. In Damascus, the governor under Aretas, the king, kept the city of the Damascenes with a garrison, desirous to apprehend me.
Kept the city of the Damascenes with a garrison, desirous to catch me and throw me on it. Go ahead.
And through a window in a basket was I let down by the wall and escaped his hands.
It says, verse 30, if I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities. Who glories in infirmities? See, we the type of people that don't want to mention infirmity. See, we the kind of people that even have people in their house that have an infirmity, and we'll hide the people. We'll hide the infirmity. He says, I'm a glory in those. Because I know in this, I'm earning me something from my Elohim. But we too busy hiding it. And he said, no, I'm gonna exercise you in this. So how we look at something and how Yahweh looks at something is not the same view. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 25. See, it never does occur to us that Yahweh is not looking at something the way that we're looking at it. First Samuel chapter 25, and we're going to read 21 through 39.
Verse 21. Now David had said, surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him, and he has requited me evil for good. So and more also do Elohim unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertained to him by the morning light any that piss against the wall. And when Abigail saw David, she hasted, and lighted off the ass, and fell before David on her face, and bowed herself to the ground, and fell at his feet, and said, upon me, my master, upon me let this lawlessness be, and let your handmaid, I pray you, speak in your audience, and hear the words of your handmaid. Let not my master, I pray you, regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your handmaid, saw not the young man of my master, whom you did send. Now therefore, my master, as Yahweh lives, and as your soul lives, seeing Yahweh has withholden you from coming to shed blood, and from avenging yourself with your own hand.
Uh-huh.
Now let your enemies, and they that seek evil to my master, be as Nabal. And now this blessing which your handmaid has brought unto my master, let it even be given unto the young men that follow my master. I pray you, forgive the trespass of your handmaid, for Yahweh will certainly make my master a sure house, because my master fights the battles of Yahweh, and evil has not been found in you all your days.
Uh-huh.
Yet a man is risen to pursue you, and to seek your soul. But the soul of my master shall be bound in the bundle of life with Yahweh your Elohim, and the souls of your enemies, them shall he sling out, as out of the midst of a sling.
Now, a lot is happening right here. David is on his way because of his anger about how this man has, basically chumped him off. And he's about to go and deal with this business himself. This woman steps in and keeps him from avenging himself. So she is essentially removing his reproach that he about to get. But it's something powerful when a king, a mighty warrior, can still take advice. See, some of us, the bigger we get, the harder it is for anybody to convince us of anything. Like, hey, can we talk about this situation? Go ahead.
Elder, even when you conversing with people, there's certain little words that you can use to trigger, because you notice she said sling out of a sling.
Uh-huh.
She knows that that's something that touches him.
Right.
And it shall come to pass, when Yahweh shall have done to my master according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and shall have appointed you ruler over Israel,
Uh-huh.
that this shall be no grief unto you, nor offense of heart unto my master, either that you have shed blood causelessly, or that my master has avenged himself.
Uh-huh.
But when Yahweh shall have dealt well with my master, then remember your handmaid.
All right. This shall be no grief unto you, nor offense of heart unto my master, either that you have shed blood causeless, or, because remember now, he wasn't just coming for Nabal. He said, I'm killing everything that builds against the wall. So, it wasn't just going to be a situation of dealing with the man. He was going to deal with everybody in the house. Go ahead.
And David said to Abigail, Blessed be Yahweh Elohim of Israel, which sent you this day to meet me.
Blessed be Yahweh who sent you to meet me. Do you know when he has sent something to you? All these warriors. And there's one woman come up with stuff hanging off the donkey here. First of all, what you doing out here? What's the one thing he would see? If it was if it was a man coming among all of them, he gonna die before he even get close. Mm-hmm. But this is quite curious. You got all these soldiers. Hey, bro, you see the damsel on the donkey? Yeah. Who you saw it for a minute? Let's find out what you're talking about. How close do a soldier get? Let's say Yahweh sent a soldier to come and talk to them soldiers. Oh, he gonna die. See, Yahweh know his servant. Oh no, he gonna die. He gonna die before he even get to talk. Remember, he good with the sling. With the sling, he ain't got to get right here for David to kill him. He kill him while he's still at the top of the hill. So Yahweh knows how to get their attention. No. Blessed be Yahweh who sent you to come and stop me. Go ahead.
And blessed be your advice, and blessed be you, which has kept me this day from coming to shed blood and from avenging myself with mine own hand.
So then she was instrumental in removing his reproach. Go ahead.
For in very deed, as Yahweh Elohim of Israel lives, which has kept me back from hurting you, except you had hasted and come to meet me, surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light any that piss against the wall. So David received of her hand that which she had brought him, and said unto her, Go up in peace to your house. See, I have hearkened to your voice, and have accepted your person. And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like the feast of a king. And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing, less or more, until the morning light. But it came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone. And it came to pass about 10 days after, that Yahweh smote Nabal, that he died. And when David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, Blessed be Yahweh that has pleaded the cause of my reproach from the hand of Nabal, and has kept his servant from evil. For Yahweh has returned the wickedness of Nabal upon his own head. And David sent and communed with Abigail to take her to him to wife.
Now, both of their reproaches have been removed. What was her reproach? Nabal.
Yep.
She was married to her reproach. She was married to her reproach. She said he is a fool as his name is. She know what she got. She know what she in. If she didn't move, that whole house is destroyed. But Yahweh still got to destroy something in that house. Something was done and something has to be dealt with. Now, there are certain levels in this, because you have the blind that have eyes, you have those that have ears but can't hear, and you also have the walking dead. Nabal was dead before he died. Let's go to Jude chapter 1. See, we have those points whereby we have opportunities to deal with some things, and we don't take advantage when the opportunity is there, believing that we'll get that opportunity again. But if that opportunity never comes by, then you're going to have to deal with what happened. And that's right in front of Revelation. It's real easy to miss. And I just want to get verses 10 through 13.
But these speak evil of those things which they know not, but what they know naturally, as brute beasts, in those things they corrupt themselves. Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah. These are spots in your feast of love. When they feast with you,
they feast with you, go ahead.
Feeding themselves without fear. Clouds they are without water.
Clouds they are without water. What is a cloud without water? What is the purpose of the cloud? How you be a cloud without water? Go ahead.
Carried about of winds, trees whose fruit withereth, without fruit, twice dead.
Twice dead. Wait a minute, how you be twice dead? See, a man without law is a beast. Beasts are the ones that are set to have their blood shed, to have atonement on the earth. So at the point that their blood is shed, yeah, they dead. But the fact that they don't walk in Yahweh's righteous law, it was already dead. Go ahead.
Plucked up by the roots, raging waves of the sea, foaming out their own shame.
Foaming out their own shame, that means their shame coming out their mouth. Go ahead.
Wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever.
All right, let's go to Psalms chapter 21. Psalms chapter 21, and we're going to read verses 1 through 13.
Psalms chapter 21 and verse 1. The king shall joy in your strength, O Yahweh, and in your salvation how greatly shall he rejoice. You have given him his heart's desire, and have not withholden the request of his lips. For you prevented him with the blessings of goodness. You setteth a crown of pure gold on his head. He asked life of you, and you gave it him, even length of days forever and ever. His glory is great in your salvation. Honor and majesty have you laid upon him. For you have made him most blessed forever. You have made him exceeding glad with your countenance. For the king trusts in Yahweh, and through the mercy of the Most High he shall not be moved. Your hand shall find out all your enemies. Your right hand shall find out those that hate you.
Because many people say that phrase on how they love God. But then what he's going to do is examine how we operate. See, there's a whole lot of things that you can look at a company and they say, you know, hey, we're doing good. And then they get them people to come and examine the books. And they said, hey, man, I don't care what they driving. They're not doing good. We looked at the books. They barely above bankruptcy. I don't care what it looked like they dressed in. I don't care what it looked like they drove. I don't care what house they live in. I just looked at these books. I examined these books. They barely above ground. Yahweh gonna examine the books. It don't matter what we present outwardly and say, oh, we this or we that and we do. None of that matters. When he examines them books, he gonna find out exactly what it is. What does it say? And when the books are open, what do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? No. Let's add up what's here. None of the persona, none of the things that we have presented, none of that matters. People lie. Numbers don't. Go ahead.
Verse 9. You shall make them as a fiery oven in the time of your anger. Yahweh shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Their fruit shall you destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men. For they intended evil against you. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform.
For they intended evil against you. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. Go ahead.
Therefore shall you make them turn their back, when you shall make ready your arrows upon your strings against the face of them. Be you exalted, Yahweh, in your own strength. So will we sing and praise your power.
Right. When we are able to triumph over things, then Yahweh's glory is magnified. His law, his way, all of that is magnified through us. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 3. But the best way to get glory is to overcome something. See, if nothing ever happens, how is there glory? Then it just looks regular. But when something happens, there's an opportunity for glory to be given. Isaiah chapter 3, and let's start that at verse 16.
Moreover, Yahweh says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanting eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet.
Now, how did they get that way? See, you have to understand how the nations have even attacked our families. I've watched whole little forums where they say, well, you know what? Women make so much money now that if they look for a brother, then they're dating down. Because they just make so much money now. Okay? Says they walking and they mincing as they go. So they sashaying. Go ahead.
Therefore, Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. In that day, the Adonai will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cowls, and their round tires like the moon. The chains, and the bracelets, and the mufflers, the bonnets, and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel.
Changeable suits of apparel. They're things that we take for granted. We think that clothes always was supposed to have an S on it. Who said you supposed to have more than one? Who told you that? Oh, we love one of the biggest points of getting a house.
Did you see those walk-in closets? Look at that. I went to sleep in my closet last night. I just laid on the floor.
Stuff that ain't been worn in 8 months. Yahweh said, oh, no. This is helping you to be haughty. Changeable suits of apparel. You know, sometimes you knew people when they said they knew Elijah, they said, what? Well, he had on such and such and such. Wait a minute, he wore that same thing? They said, yeah, he got on a girdle and he got on such and such. Wait a minute. They describing people by what they got on? Yeah, but you ain't seen him in a month. How you know what he got on? 'Cause I know what clothes he got. You know all his clothes? He might not have that many. So Elijah definitely didn't have no walk-in closet. Most definitely. But see, there are certain things that build up our haughtiness and we don't even know it's happening. We've gotten so accustomed to it that we think it's regular. Go ahead.
And the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle a rent, and instead of well-set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach.
Wait a minute. 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying we will eat our own bread. Now, wait a minute. This situation is saying this is supposed to be what the man is supposed to be taking care of. All right? So if a man marries a woman, it says that he was supposed, her duty of marriage and her daily food, he shall not take away when adding another. But wait a minute. These women somehow have had something happen that they have reproach. And because of that reproach, part of that duty then is relieved of him. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we eat our own bread. We gonna bring home the bread and cook it. And wear our own apparel. You ain't got to buy us no clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Wait a minute. The name of Israel takes away reproach. Do you even know what you're being called by? Do you even know? Why? Everybody walking around trying to fight over how you say Yahweh. No, it's Yahweh. No, it's Yahuwah. No, it's a. Do you even know that you are called by the name that takes away reproach? And we sitting over here trying to figure out how to say Yahweh? Right. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalm 139. Tell me that ain't a powerful name. Just give us your name. Just give me the name. I'll take care of everything else. Just give me the name. You ain't know what you got. Spending all your time trying to get something else. And the most powerful thing ever. You walking around like it don't mean nothing. Because you don't know the value of it. And you're willing to give it in the wrong places. You ready to give your name for some lentil soup. Go ahead, Bree.
I was going to say, Tina understood what she built when she used that name, right?
Didn't she? She said, I don't want nothing in this house. You can let him keep all up. I can have everything. But give me my name. I want to keep the Turner name. You know that's my name. No, I work hard for that name. I just want my name. She said, no, I put too much into this. And I'm going to finish this out with this name. Here it is. We have this name that takes away reproach. And we have no idea. Go ahead, bro.
O Yahweh, you have searched me and known me. You knoweth my down sitting and mine uprising. You understand my thought afar off. You compass my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but, lo, O Yahweh, you knoweth it altogether. You have beset me behind and before, and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain unto it. Whether shall I go from your spirit, or whether shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend up in heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the utmost parts of the sea, even there shall your hand lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hides not from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and light are both alike to you. For you have possessed my reins. You have covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows right well. My substance was not hid from you when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in your book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are your thoughts unto me, O Elohim! How great is the sum of them! If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. Surely you will slay the wicked, O Elohim. Depart from me, therefore, you bloody man. For they speak against you wickedly, and your enemies take your name in vain.
For they speak against you wickedly, and your enemies take your name in vain. Now, they won't necessarily speak directly against Yahweh. They're going to be speaking against you. They don't think that the protection carries over. Go ahead.
Do not I hate them, O Yahweh, that hate you?
Now, are we in that position? Are we still trying to love those who hate Yahweh? We don't see that there's a conflict of interest. How can I love someone who hates Yahweh? There's a conflict of interest there. Because those things that I love is going to become an abomination unto you. And vice versa. But how much time do we have to put into something before we figure that out? Go ahead.
And am I not grieved with those that rise up against you? I hate them with perfect hatred.
I hate them with perfect hatred. Now, wait a minute. Now, folks say, wait a minute. Now, you can't, God is love. Now, you can't be having no hatred. Wait a minute. We got several verses about hate right here. Do not I hate them, O Yahweh, that hate you? And am not I grieved with those that rise up against you? I hate them with perfect hatred. I don't know how you make hate perfect. Maybe I need to step my hate game up. I don't know. I don't know how to get perfect hatred. But he damn sure seemed to have figured it out. Go ahead.
I count them mine enemies. Search me, O Elohim, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts.
Wait a minute. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Wait a minute. So then we have a tendency to know that people operate in evil, but somehow they still our friends. Now, there's one level of doing evil out in the street. There's another level of being or committing evil with the knowledge and understanding of the word. And somehow we still call those friends. Wait a minute. He says, I count them enemies. If they hate you, they hate me. They hate you, they hate us. We have a problem here. Now, there are some that do that without knowledge. And then there are those that do that with knowledge. Go ahead, brother.
And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
All right, so that's all that we're going to do for today. Let us keep in our thoughts in the forefront of our thoughts that it is impossible that we would walk this earth, live this life without reproach. But it is also impossible that we would not have to do something to help get that reproach from off of us. We can't just sit around and say Yahweh is going to do everything that is needed to be done to clear my name, and I'm not going to have to do anything. Salvation without sacrifice is not known in Scripture. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.